This session will challenge the way we think about health, lifestyle, and well being, and what it truly means to stay active and engaged as we grow older.
Chairing the panel is Ms. Gargi Sandhu, co-founder Goodfellows India, India's first companionship startup addressing loneliness among senior citizens through intergenerational friendships. Thank you, Gargi, for chairing this panel. Joining the panel first is Dr. Santosh Shetty. He's the director and the head of the Department of Orthopedic and Robotic Joint Replacement Surgery at Surana Group of Hospitals. He's a leading orthopedic surgeon known for his work in joint care and arthritis treatment and pioneering impactful initiatives through bone and joint foundations such as the Pledge to Fight Against Arthritis. Joining the panel next is Meenakshi Menon, a 66-year-old grandmother of two, chose to challenge how the world views aging. She recognizes that the 60-plus community is often undeserved and needs stronger support to live fuller, more empowered lives. Meenakshi ma'am, could you please join us on the stage? We are delighted to welcome Dr. Sunil Wagh, founder, Golden Hearts Senior Fitness, Fellow of American Endodontic Society and Masters Athlete, championing active aging through Golden Hearts Senior Fitness and Balance. Next up, Dr. Vishakha Shivdasani is a renowned physician in disease reversal and longevity. She focuses on treating chronic lifestyle conditions through a combination of lifestyle and medical care. Requesting finally Ms. Clara D'Souza, CEO of Adhata Trust and a gerontology professional working on holistic well-being.
Good afternoon, everybody. क्या आप सब ready है इस session के लिए? आवाज़ नहीं आ रहा है. Yeah. So this is going to be a very fun and interactive and very, very informative session because we have some amazing people here who are working in overall active aging. Now when you say active aging, मैंने इन सबसे पूछा कि अगर आपको describe करना है कि what does active aging mean? How would you describe it in 3 words? Simple. All of them came back with one common word, and that meant independence. I think ये एक word था जो सबने कहा कि independence is the most important aspect of active aging. So today we are going to get perspectives from different people in different various fields, right from nutrition to physical as well as holistic well-being. So let's start. I think my first question is to Dr. Sunil Wagh. Sir, when we talk about activities of daily living, you know, just something that makes us very independent, how do we take that metabolic health and turn it into physical security using your very 5 pillars? That is strength, balance, movement, endurance, and flexibility.
Okay, hello, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Let me start by thanking and congratulating Goodfellas, The Week magazine, and of course all these young guests here. I mean, it's been, this particular topic has been a long-standing problem which, you know, we've neglected for so many years, and I'm so thrilled that something is happening regarding senior aging. I'd like to call it aging. I don't like the word old. And frankly, all of us are aging, that's true. But there's something we can do to delay this aging process. And it's, you know, this thing of building an ecosystem, which the silver economy is concentrating on. Building this ecosystem is of 2 parts. You have an external system, which everyone before, the panelists before have spoken about, and which is fantastic. My job as a fitness person is to build an internal ecosystem, something that you yourself are responsible for. Eventually, it's going to be you who's got to do the work. The hard work is to be done by you. And it's all, you know, beginning at an early age. There's nothing like early, there's nothing like late. The earlier you begin, the better it's going to be. So it's all up to you. And I'd say, if now coming back to your question, ADL is, it just means activities of daily living. So those are the things you do routinely. It could be just doing the household chores. It could be doing some gardening, walking, all those kind of things. The problem is, what I've seen while dealing with seniors is that they're coming with a very defensive attitude. They don't have the confidence to do some of the things that they are meant to do, and they can do. It's just because they've been out of action for quite some time. So in my class, which I take for senior citizens, I've got people from the age group of maybe 50 to 94, 95. We've got 6 people over 95. Tell you the truth, the 95-year-olds are the most regular in the class. That's because they've made it a habit. So what my suggestion to all of you is, don't bother about your current condition, the medical issues, anything of that sort. It's today. So you begin your simple workouts today and concentrate on just improving yourself on a day-to-day basis. Look for small changes. No shortcuts to anything. And the ADL part of it, I'll tell you, see, we look at medical reports and we consider ourselves to be okay, going on, we're living. But that's just health on paper. Medical reports are health on paper. What you need is efficiency in your daily life. So how do you get that efficiency? Through 5 pillars. 1, I'm going to be quick. If I go to explain this, it's going to take time. So what you need is, first thing is strength. Without strength, you cannot do a lot of the core chores that you're doing at home. And strength after the age of 50 starts diminishing at almost 1% every year. So by the time, and after 70, it goes at almost 10% every year. So, you're losing 30% by the age of 80. Without strength, you're not going to be able to do a lot of things. Work on strength in simple ways. The simple exercises which we do in Golden Hearts. So that's 1. Number 1 is strength. Second, you're going to come to balance. Practice balancing. Please, for heaven's sake, everybody should practice balance. You've got to walk, you've got to try to stand on 1 foot, walk heel to toe. I'll just show you this, simple. This is your heel, so you're going to walk, this is heel to toe, okay? So keep doing this backward, forward. Very, very important. So heel to toe walking increases balance. Chances of fall are less. At Golden Hearts, we specialize in preventing falls because we practice a lot of balance. These are things you can do at home with someone around you, okay? The third thing is, reflex, your reaction time. You'll notice as you grow older, if you're driving a car, I'm giving you an example. You see somebody crossing the road, you press the pedal, you press the brake, but you don't realize that you've taken a little longer to press that brake and you reach closer to that person than you would have liked. So these are simple things where your reaction time has reduced. Practice a bit of that. There are exercises to, make your reaction time faster. Your flexibility is the next thing. Work on your joints. You've got to do simple joint movements, just full range of movements. All, your entire body, so that no part of your body lacks the functional ability at the time you need it. So that's it. Then you also have a cognitive sharpness. So you've got to be how sharp you are. You should be able to, if you look at something, you should be able to reach out for that thing with your eyes closed. So that's also a practice kind of thing. Like if you shut your eyes, and give you an example, shut your eyes and you try to touch your 2 fingers here, or you just practice this. This is cognitive also, and it's called proprioception. It's important, all right? And this is the last thing is, as you grow older, there is a fear of falling. That fear of falling also should go because it makes you tense. So how? This is all because you're not practicing enough. Just try to do things on a regular basis, as I said, and don't look for major gains quickly. So I'll stop at that. There was a lot to say.
No, thank you so much for that insight. My next question is to Dr. Vishakha. We spoke about physical health. हमें strong बनना है, हमें balancing exercises करने हैं. पर सब कहते हैं कि जो खाना हम खाते हैं, that is most important. So I want to ask you that you have experience, you have a lot of experience in reversing chronic conditions like type 2 diabetes, using simple things जैसे lifestyle as a medicine, nothing too extreme. So for seniors specifically, what is that single most common myth that you fight? And what does a realistic metabolism reset look like for someone who is in their 70s?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for organizing this fantastic event. Such a compassionate, great event to have. Whatever else you do, just focus on what you eat first, because 80% is nutrition. Everything else can be compounded over and above that. What you eat, what's on your spoon or on your fork will decide whether your genes are going to be turned off or turned on, and how you are going to be in the last 10 or 20 years of your life. So you can today decide how the next 10 or 20 years of your life are going to be. And it doesn't matter whether you've got not just type 2 diabetes, whether you've got fatty liver, you've got insulin resistance, you've got a heart problem, wherever you are on the health curve, you can improve today by making the correct choices. I would plead everyone not to make extreme choices at this age, not to do anything extreme, but the idea is to make daily sustainable changes and be disciplined about it. Most people get frustrated, I've done this for a month and I've not seen a change, or I've done this for 45 days. You have to do it for the rest of your life. It's not a diet program, it's a lifestyle, which means you're going to do it till the end of your life. And I see people who come to me at 60, 70, 80, reversing their diabetes based on what we've told them. Their cholesterol numbers come down, their obesity goes away, their fatty liver has been reversed just through lifestyle intervention. And these are people who come and say, to begin with, the myth is, why are you telling me to make all these changes at my age, doc? Nothing is going to happen at my age, kuch nahi hone wala. Which is so wrong, and that's the biggest myth. So I'd like to tell everyone here, don't think that. Start today, start wherever you are. Doesn't matter where your blood parameters are at, or whether you're mobile or immobile, it doesn't matter. You can change that trajectory. How can you reset your metabolic health? Through food. The first thing I would tell you is that India as a country, we are so low on protein that we need to relook our food and our plate. I don't want anyone in this room to go back and start counting calories. I don't want anyone to do portion control of food. Those are the most unsustainable things from time immemorial that have been done which don't work. I want you to look at your plate and say, am I getting enough protein in my food, or is this so much carb? Am I eating just chapati and rice and no protein, whether it's veg, non-veg, whatever? Am I beginning my morning, say, with fresh fruit juice thinking it's so healthy, which it is not? You need to just focus on protein. Why? As Doc said, as we grow older, after 40 actually, not after 50, we lose 1% of muscle mass each year. And balance also is so important. For that, we need enough protein. We need adequate protein so we don't get sarcopenia. I have patients who are 50 and 60 who come curled up at the clinic. You don't want to be that person. And even if you are that person, you can take, you can change that today. So you look at your food, you see your protein, you see your fat, you don't fear your good fat, you eat it, and you just reduce your processed food, you reduce your sugar. Some of you here must be knowing about Dan Butler. He'd done this documentary series. He's a longevity expert, and he'd done something called the Blue Zones. And within all the blue zones across the world, what he found was they all ate their carbs, mind you. They all ate their rice and their pasta and breads and all of that. But they did not eat any processed food. And of course, the second thing was social connection. But these two were the common denominators. So as far as nutrition is concerned, please just focus on your protein. Don't fear it. Don't do anything extremes. Anyone who tells you, eat the superfood, it's going to change your life, you should change that person. just delete that person from your life. Yeah, there is no superfood. I get asked this by every journalist all the time, but doc, what's the latest superfood? I'm like, you cannot out-supplement a bad diet. You can't out-exercise a bad diet. You need to get 80% of that on point. Everything else will move the needle only once you're doing your basics correctly. So sorry, I've given you a very unglamorous answer. I've given you an answer that's not going to cost you much, but it is the most effective answer.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vishakha. I think the most important thing is why now, but you should start now, no matter when it is, whether it's in your 50s, 60s. But thank you so much for that. We spoke about getting physically fit. We also spoke about diet. My next question is to Ms. Clara D'Souza. Ma'am, as an advocate of positive and active, aging and aging in place, how does your holistic approach of mixing yoga, art, social campaigns ensure that seniors remain valued participants rather than just passive observers in their own community?
Thank you, Gargi. Thank you, good fellows, for having me here. I think from whatever we are listening from the morning session till our nutrition doctor, I think Adata sums this all up. And this is exactly where the space a senior has to be. It's your holistic well-being. Like if you're taking care of your physical health, your cognitive health, your social health is very important. Morning session we heard Dr. Kasi saying, what is something that is keeping senior citizens away? That is also a part of their physical illness. Is like we had around 5 years back a study which showed by Hindustan, 7 to 10% of our seniors are suffering not because of diabetes, not because of BP, but because of loneliness. And what are we doing for this loneliness? Like everybody is saying, which are the 4 pillars that we need to take? See, physical health is there. As far as we know of this audience, and today all the senior citizens who are here are able to understand aging is part of me. It's a process which I have to go through. Then what is that I need to take care? Very importantly is your social health. You cannot lock yourself from people. You need, like for democracy, they say, for the people, by the people. You are for people. We live in a society where we need to be connected. We do not like to be alone. Okay, we cannot say, okay, we want to go back to joint families or we want to go in that pattern. Then how do you live healthy? How do you take care of this? This is exactly where we need to have this holistic well-being centers. Places where most of in the city, if you see, one part of a city is aging really rapidly. Other part is also aging. That's because we have cross migrations. We have children gone abroad. Who is left? It's me. It's the senior who is left behind. What do I do? Do I make the 4 walls of my house my nest? That is called, I think all gerontologists will know, it's like empty nest syndrome. Do I want to accept emptiness syndrome or I come out? So what do I do? You need to prepare yourself. Yes, I am retiring. Like even Dr. I think the other panelist said, what is that? How are we planning our second innings? Where are we going there? How are we empowering ourselves? We need to take that first step. Yes, I want to grow old this way. I want to be an example for my next generation. When people walking around says, if I want to grow old, I want to do like him. So what is that I add to my years of life? It's the quality of life. What do I decide for myself? Pick up one passion like Rekha Bharadwaj ma'am said. Pick up one passion. You need not be a singer. You need not be a dancer. But there is a beginning. You have given your entire life for your family, for your children, for your spouse, for your grandparents, for your in-laws. You have been a nurturer. You have been a carer. Time to give back to yourself. This is the time for me. I want to live my life this pattern. This is what I choose. Like when I see so many youngsters around here, it's such a beautiful space to be, to connect, be a part of them. People may say, oh, they are from the next generation. No, look at the good fellows. Look at the Datans. They're all a part of you. And we have so much intergeneration things, activities that can be done. You are a very much part of this community. You are a part of this society. You are empowered. You are banks of wisdom. Time to give back. Time to say, yes, this is what I want to do. How you want to share your knowledge. How you want to share your experience. Form a bank. Not just because, no, I always say, in heredity, what do you give? Just don't give your wealth. Give your culture. Give your traditions. Give your experience. Tell them, today we need all of that. All of that. Form your own beautiful community. Bind together as a group. Create support system within yourself. Like somebody was saying, I was speaking to Dr. Indru, and he was saying, Mr. Ranjan, and he was saying, okay, we need to create a new ecosystem. Our new ecosystem should have all of this together, where we not only empower ourselves, but we also look for, because we are creators. इतने सालों की एक्सपीरियंस है हमारे पास, इसको किस तरह से हम वापस समाज में यूज कर सकते हैं, किस तरह से हम हमारे बच्चों को इसको बता सकते हैं कि बॉस हमारे पास भी वो भी सीखने के लिए रेडी है, सब सीखने के लिए यहाँ पे रेडी है. I want to learn technology. I want to know how to create videos. I want to know how to make reels. I want to learn. Learning is another platform. There is no age where I can stop knowledge. We can acquire knowledge at any stage of life. Make the youngsters your buddies, and they will teach you a new language. I think this is uplifting.
Yeah. I think what you said about learning, that is so important. And I think a lot of seniors are doing that today and also getting out of their homes. That's why we have so many seniors who have come out on a Sunday to learn more about active aging and do more for themselves. So big round of applause for yourselves, everybody. आपने वो कदम उठाया है तो यहाँ आके और डिसाइड करके कि मुझे करना है कुछ मेरे लिए, आज मैं अपने लिए आई हूँ. So a big kudos to you. Ma'am, just like you spoke about learning, I would now like to ask Ms. Meenakshi Menon, the entire Gen S that is your platform, you're building technology for this very generation sitting right here. So what separates seniors who thrive with technology from those who, resist it?
So I have a question for everybody. Anyone here who doesn't use WhatsApp, who's above the age of 60? Put up your hands.
I think everyone uses WhatsApp.
Right?
Absolutely.
Anyone here above the age of 60 who doesn't know how to choose YouTube videos? Put up your hand.
I think they are masters at that, also forwarding.
One last question. All of you who are on Instagram above the age of 60, put up your hands. Who are on Instagram?
Yeah.
Wow. Look at that. And this, my dear friends, is the problem with the world we live in. Stereotypes, right? You're old. Of course I'm old. I'm proud of being old. The fact that I'm old means I'm lucky. Rekha talked about gratitude. I'm old because I'm lucky. I live despite having, conditions, maybe achy knees, loneliness or whatever. So the first thing is the stereotypes that we are fed. Doctor talked about aging. Tell me one 6-month-old baby who's not aging. Is there anybody who's not aging? Every minute that we exist, we age. And this is the reality of the world we live in. But we all believe the fictions that we are given, the stereotypes. You're old, don't do this. You're old, your knees will pain. You're old, rest, take it easy. Why? My philosophy is, first of all, we are lucky to have got here, right? So the first thing we need to do is celebrate that we've seen more than 60 years. Come on, big round of... And all you young people in the audience, I pray and hope that you get to this stage, okay? So that's number one, celebrate your age. Number two, put no impositions on yourself. Now, we are lucky we live in Bombay. We live in a city where we have good fellows, we have Clara, Adata Trust. We've got a lot of facilities, right? But India is 225 million people and they all don't live in Bombay. We need to find solutions. Clara was talking about loneliness. You need to find loneliness solutions for people in Saranpur, for people in Meerut, for people in Agra. Doctor was talking about mobility. You need to find mobility solutions for people regardless of where they are. And that's why we built a technology platform called Gen S Life. And it's about looking at support every single day. Not when you are lonely, not when you are down, but take charge of your life and build your own life because nobody is going to do it for you. And no matter how much you loved your children, you would never want them to give up their life and come and sit with you, would you? Is there anybody in the room who says, I want my children to be my slave? Put your hand up. No, exactly. Is there anybody in the room who says, I don't want to be independent till I die? Put your hand up. Nobody. It's very simple. And that's why we built this platform.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Meenakshi ma'am. In fact, something what you said about you're growing old, adjust. You know, that is something we hear, adjust kar lijiye, abhi to ho gaya, abhi aap ho gaye, 60 ho gaya. So my next question is to you, doctor. Aging in India often comes with an adjustment mindset. Ki adjust kar lijiye, abhi to ho gaya. How can healthcare innovation help shift the focus to prevention and active living?
I think so. We are so wired and conditioned to adjust. And if we were wired and conditioned to adjust, I don't think so. इतने सारे लोग जो यहाँ आए हैं ना, वो नहीं आ पाते. वो तो घर पे बैठे हुए रहते हैं. तो ऐसे कुछ लोग भी हैं जो adjust नहीं करते हैं. And that's where the spirit of life is all about. So the best thing that I have seen, the practice that I do, day in, day out, I interact with people who come to me with pain. Everybody has pain, but then what we need to understand is, जैसे आपने बताया, it's very important that we all have to be independent. No matter what we are, which stage of life we are, which stage of life we are celebrating, independent, mobility, and purpose. We all clap for Khichdi auntie now. You know what was very common for her? She was independent, she was mobile, and she found a purpose in her life. And that's the answer for everything that we are discussing over here. No loneliness for her. No EDA, no nutrition, everything she's doing. She doesn't need an app, nothing. But how does she find a solution for herself? She found that she has her own limitations, but she wants to make a purpose out of her living. Every day that I see patients, they come to me saying that they have pain. Pain is so common the moment they enter my door. But what is important, we need to understand that we should not be accepting this pain. You know, the biggest pain for me is when people say, aging is normal, pain is normal. We need to first, Gargi, reframe this. Pain is not normal. It cannot be normal. And if we are planning to live with that pain, because it has been wired, that is the first adjustment we are doing for our senior citizens or anybody who is suffering with pain. So the first reframe that we have to do, pain is not normal. Pain may be there, but we have to find a solution for it. So if we are finding a solution, today we are in an era where technology and everything is helping us. So why do we not look into things before it becomes bigger problem for us? And the biggest problem is people come to us when it has already become a bigger problem to them.
Yeah.
So all of us today, we are just discussing about solution after the problem is there. So the next thing we need to rewrite and reframe is, why is it that care, जो हमने लिखा हुआ है, where care meets need, वो care से पहले भी तो कोई चीज हो सकता है. So why can't we rewire that and we say that we should plan something that we would not require that care. And if we reach that stage, That's where optimization is all about in healthcare. So finding a doctor when you're in problem is very easy. But why don't you find someone before the problem comes in? And that's where joint preservation has come in, and many people don't know about joint preservation. So today, if I have to just tell a small thing over here, health and science and technology has moved in a direction where early diagnosis can be done. Preventive treatment can be done. And you can accept that you have a problem, but you can find a solution at an earlier stage. So what we commonly know about over here is that mobility नहीं है, तो डॉक्टर के पास जाओ, वो आपको सर्जरी बोल देगा. That's the reason why people don't come to us, because they think कि डॉक्टर अगर सर्जरी ही बोलने वाले वही तो हमें नहीं करना है, तो हम क्यों करें? But if you try to understand that there is a phase much before that, if you meet doctor at the right time, if an early diagnosis can be done, we all can be mobile, and that's the second era, beautiful thing that is going to come now. Joint replacement is going to be history. Let me tell you, 10 to 15 years down the line, joint preservation is all about it, and that is going to be biologics, preservatives, nutrition, maintaining our strength. If we do all those things, we will not reach a stage where our joint is already deteriorated. So why are we there today? Because, you know, nobody came up with a platform like you. Nobody created an education. Nobody created an awareness. And really, I'm thankful to your entire team, Shantanu and all of y'all. At least y'all started that step of creating an education. So maybe if they have missed the bus, there is another entire group over here, which is young people. They may not have to go through those things. So for me, the most important thing today, if I have to tell all the people around over here, is that yes, we may have joint pain, but we need to live with joint pain. We have to find a purpose. So independence, mobility, and finding a purpose. How many people over here will agree that I want to live longer, or would say that I want to live better? All of you all want to live better, correct? Nobody would say that I want to live longer. Everybody would say I want to live better. So if we need to live better, then the first step कौन उठाएगा? कौन उठाएगा? आप ही उठाओगे ना first step. तो अगर you want to live better, so the first thing is information. अब rightly इन्होंने बताया हम YouTube में जाते हैं, हम Insta में जाते हैं, हम वो nonsense programs देखते हैं, जो actually हमारे कोई काम का ही नहीं, वो just एक entertainment है हमारे लिए. Yes, absolutely what you said.
Doom scrolling, that's
Okay.
it.
अगर हम कोई इंफॉर्मेटिव चीज उठाए, अब अभी मुझे किसी ने पूछा कि आपका इंस्टा आईडी बताइए, मैं बोला मैं इंस्टा पे हुई नहीं. I'm not there on Insta, but I'm sorry, but now I realize that I should be on Insta, but because I can educate certain things which is much, much more useful for you all. But then my question is, how many people will follow me? No one is going to follow me. So, so then the question is, why would I waste that time to make an Insta reel? Rather than I make an initiative. What is the initiative that I have made? Pledge to fight against arthritis. Mobility with dignity. And a foundation where we all come together and find a solution. How do we take care of our joints? And how that is possible? First thing is a step everyone has to take. Early diagnosis. Early diagnosis is the key. And you know what the best part is? Technology, AI-driven technology, the way it has evolved, you would not even imagine how technology can come to our rescue. Now, if you do your predictive analysis, people can know the diseases which is already there inside. And if they already know what is there inside, can't they take care of it? Definitely they can take care of it. How many of you all have heard about Angelina Jolie over here? The famous actress who sacrificed her breast. Why did she sacrifice her breast? Why? Because she knew what was coming in the future. So she decided to sacrifice it now because she wanted to live longer and live better. So if you are supposed to know that these are the joint problems, you're already harboring it and you're going to get it in the future, you are able to get a predictive analysis about it, you get an AI predictive analysis, you come to a doctor who is already doing futuristic treatment and does joint preservation, gives you simple solution for a problem which can become bigger in the future. This isn't what all we are looking for. So this is exactly what I want to tell everybody over here. Let's be mobile. but let's have that mobility with dignity. Do not wait till it comes to a time where you feel that you may require a surgery. Go for a predictive analysis before. Now, even if you require surgery, what is stopping you? There is robotic surgery, which is done with precision. On the third day, you're mobile, and within 6 weeks, you're active and doing everything that you can do. So, accept age gracefully. Whatever is required, have the heart and the mind to accept it gracefully, and if surgery is required, so be it. So this is all that I want to tell through this podium as a joint preservation surgeon and a robotic joint replacement surgeon over here. Definitely no adjustment. That word we should remove, Gargi, that word of adjustment should be removed. और वो तो हम wired और conditioned हो गए इंडिया में, adjust करो. घर पे बहू को बोलते हैं कि सास के साथ adjust करो, सास को बोलते हैं बहू के साथ adjust करो, स्कूल में बच्चे को बोलते हैं टीचर के साथ एडजस्ट करो, और ये सब तो एडजस्टमेंट करते करते हम यहाँ तक पहुंच चुके हैं जो लाइफ ही एडजस्टमेंट हो चुका है.
So technology is so advanced today कि हमें adjust करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. It's just about going out there and finding the right information, and there is something out there if we just go out and look. We have 10 minutes, but I have some very interesting questions. So I'm going to go back again to Dr. Sunil. I request you to be brief so that everyone gets. So as a 70-year-old, if I am walking into Golden Hearts and I'm saying, okay, I'm going to come, I'm taking the initiative, but घर वाले बोल रहे हैं, नहीं नहीं, ये weight lifting है, ये इस उम्र में थोड़ी ना आप कर सकते हो, या अभी क्यों करना है, अभी walk पे चले जाओ बस, that is more than important, अभी थोड़ी strength ज़रूरी नहीं है. So what do you have to say to that, and how can we overcome this fear and this narrative that is attached to building and getting strong?
Okay, good question. So, a 70-year-old walking into my gym, this is my personal experience, the first thing is, I've got to do something called a mind reset, because they come with preconceived notions about what exercise is, what a gym is. Mine is not a gym, by the way, and I hate that, the word gym. I call it a kind of a movement where I'm trying to influence people to change their mindset regarding exercise and physical activity. So when someone walks in, my first job is to get their mind to cool down, let them just see what's happening in that studio of ours, and feel comfortable about the whole thing. Then in the next week or so, we start with very casual work, like simply, I test their ability, we assess them, then we see how they walk, their posture, their gait whilst they're walking. We look at their strength. We never use dumbbells and machines. There's nothing that is aggressive. It's all very calming. The environment is safe, secure. So we use things called therabands. You must have heard of resistance tubes, medicine balls. We use a Bosu ball. I do a lot of cognitive sharpness exercises where we simulate conditions that people are going to face in daily life. So I use different surfaces, hard. Now if you walk bare feet on grass, on this surface, and on, say, something soft, the feel to your soles is different. So your balance is going to be affected. So we train people to walk on different surfaces. I also make some of them fall. But of course I'm there because I'm right with each senior citizen. So it's very exhausting. 1 hour session with senior citizens is more than my entire dental practice of 8 hours. But a lot of care is given. So they tend to, slowly understand that we can do this if we are taken care of. By the 3rd or 4th week, they start doing things. Their walking is more, their strength is more, their confidence is more. Their family replies by saying that we are seeing good changes. I'll just give you a quick example. I had a person who came to me about 4 years ago with Parkinson's and with a cerebral stroke. She was accompanied by 2 people and couldn't stand. I mean, there was complete trembling and body was not this stable. After 3 years, if there's no chance for me to show you the video, but she's running over hurdles. So we've kept 6-inch hurdles. This woman did an entire circuit confidently, including hurdles and a lot of a lot of simple things to be done, but for a person like her to do it was absolutely stunning. And that is what is motivating us to
The first step of just getting out and coming there.
Yeah, and
slowly getting over your fears.
yeah, they get over their fears and then they are confident. See, eventually you want them to lead an active life as they're aging, and what you're aiming for in the end is independence. And, as he was saying that, as doctor said just now, that there's just one very important thing which I've noticed. Prevention, see, none of you want to be dependent on anybody else as far as possible. So what option do you have? You have to put in the effort yourself, whether it's nutrition, rest, anything, meditation, do what is good for you, understand your body, and just go ahead, look for these small changes, you'll be thrilled. There has to be a challenge. If there's no challenge, you're not going to improve. So you've got to challenge yourself. Just walking is not an exercise. If I ask you how many of you walk, I think all of you will put your hands up. But walking by itself is not an exercise. Walking systematically or with purpose, looking at the time, the intensity of your walk, these matter. These are things that make it an exercise. Otherwise, a walk is a leisurely activity. It's a physical leisurely activity.
So I think
that's how things are. So we take it slowly. And we reach a stage where independence happens and the family is happy.
Correct.
That's it.
I think the first step is to get out and just try it out and, build our strength. Next is for Dr. Vishakha. I think this is my favorite. And this comes from my grandmother who's sitting in the audience. Keto, intermittent fasting, modern diets, every time I'm trying something new, so my grandma हमेशा बोलती है तुम क्या करते रहते हो ये हमारे टाइम पे ऐसे कुछ नहीं होता मतलब मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा. So in this age of modern diet trends, seniors often feel very, very alien. They do not know what's happening. How does a senior distinguish between genuine nutritional needs from passing fads? And how can they keep up without feeling so overwhelmed?
Such a pertinent question across age groups, really. This is for Gargi's grandmom. Whether it is keto, whether it is intermittent fasting, there is no one particular diet that is correct for everybody. My gut microbiome is different from yours. My genetic pooling is definitely different from yours. How can what I prescribe to everyone be the same? So who is telling you? Who is the person that's giving you this information that keto is good for you, that intermittent fasting is good for you? That is key. Is it your neighbor who's walking with you in the garden? Is it some influencer with lots of followers and great lighting on her face and is looking lovely? Who is the person? Is it a credible doctor? You understand that. Only then you decide whether you need to follow it or not. As far as these two particular trends, they're not really trends. Keto is fantastic if done correctly for the correct group of people. So for people who've got dementias or young kids with epilepsy, keto works fantastically. Would I like to prescribe keto, or do I prescribe keto to my patients? Do I do it myself? No, because I don't think it's sustainable. I would never want to never have a roti or rice or a piece of pizza or cake and for it to be completely out of bounds. I don't know how many people in this room would be okay with that. So you want to eat your carb. That's how we've grown up eating. And keto is a very strict, very stringent diet. So I'm not a big fan of keto for those reasons. Apart from the fact they can also get a lot of nutritional deficiencies. As far as intermittent fasting is concerned, again, not a trend, and is fantastic for you. I personally do it a few times a week, and I do recommend my patients also do it, but not 7 days a week. There is something called metabolic flexibility. Sorry, I'm going to be technical for 30 seconds. You need to go in and out of what is ketosis. So when you eat your carb, you're burning your fat. When you're eating your carb, and when you're not eating for many number of hours, then your body goes into a state of ketosis. What is important to know for this group is that I personally do not recommend intermittent fasting for anybody over the age of 60 or 70. Why is that? To begin with, I said we are a protein depleted country and we need to have more protein. If I ask anyone in this room, most people above the age of 60 will either have constipation issues or they've got digestion issues. They come to the clinic and the bane of their life is constipation. Kabzi ho gayi hai, I'm having gut issues. Now if I give that person in a limited window, which is what intermittent fasting is, and I say now you have extra protein, your digestive problems will catapult. They will increase significantly. So I cannot do that because you're not going to be able to do it. And you're going to come back to me with other issues. So is it good to do intermittent fasting or keto? For this group, I would say no. Very, very important not to do anything extreme. Everything can be done, like I said, in an unglamorous, inexpensive way, but when actually move the needle will make your health parameters in 3 months look like a different person's blood report and make you feel and look much better. Just be careful of where the advice is coming from, and I cannot emphasize on this enough.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vishakha. Unfortunately, due to the paucity of time, we are going to have to...
If I may add, sorry, just one second. I'll just take... any of these diets also, someone came to the clinic yesterday, that's why it just occurred to me, said, in 1 week, I'm going to reverse my aging. This is what this person has promised. I said, please give me his now her number. I also want to look like I'm 20. But that does not happen. Anything that sounds too good to be true generally is.
Thank you so much. Audience, we are going to break for high tea after this, but all of the experts are going to be there. Agar aapke paas koi bhi questions hoge, please feel free to grab them. They will answer whatever question that you wanted to ask. But please give a big round of applause for our panelists.
Thank you, Gagi, and thank you all our panelists for such a lively session. To express our gratitude, may I invite Mr. Joji Ipan Zakria, Senior Regional General Manager, The Week, to kindly come up on stage and present the mementos to our panelists.
Thank you, sir, for doing the honors. And thank you once again to all our wonderful panelists.